Mark Pappas Foundation. First, I'd like to thank you. First, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you for everyone coming. Before I go any further, for those who don't know, I'd like to acknowledge the man that made all this possible, Mr. Mark Pappas. If you could stand for me, Mr. Mark. We are also honoring another gentleman on the day, a big part of why the foundation is here and we're able to do the work that we do. Officer Jason Neidig, our honorary guest, is here. If you could stand for us, Officer Neidig. Thank you.
So, hi everybody. So now we're back. We're joined with players from the NFL Players Association, and I'm just going to let them go around and just tell you who they are and what they're doing and why they're here supporting the foundation tonight. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is RJ Stanford. I played 5 years in the NFL. After that, I got into law enforcement myself, Secret Service. Originally from Southern California, and just growing up, just running with that community in the game, that drew my intrigue and interest into the other side of law enforcement, just bridging that gap between the communities in the inner city with law enforcement. So I definitely appreciate the foundation and just the partnership that I wanted to be a part of. Salute to you as well, and just the work that you're doing with the local law enforcement field. So that's just a little bit about me.
My name's Carl Morris. Played 6 years in the NFL, both Dolphins, Saints, and Chargers. I was fortunate enough to attend Harvard University. While I was at Harvard, my team and I were able to do a lot of local outreach programs such as this, which really kind of solidified my interest in really getting out to the community and getting involved. Just seeing the outcome that you can have really at any point in your life, whether it's kind of high school, college, or as a professional, you can always have an outcome on someone's life and really have a positive change in the kids' life. So just really thankful to be here. Really thankful to be here. Really proud to be a part of any organization that's willing to put the effort forward like this, and just thankful for the group and the opportunity to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. My name is Jason Murphy. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I grew up on the west side of Baltimore. I'm 6 years in the NFL. I had the opportunity to finish with the hometown Baltimore Raiders. That was the great experience for me and my family. Now I work for the NFL. I'm a uniform inspector with the NFL, and I also have my own foundation called the Holding the Line Foundation, and a mentoring program called the True Gentlemen's Program. So mainly opportunities and foundations and things like this helped me through all the things that I had to go through going through Baltimore City and growing up in the city of Baltimore. So I applaud all of you guys for being here, because I know that it will affect someone similar to myself moving forward, and they'll be standing here in front of you sooner or later. So thank you. So I appreciate Mr. Pappas and Pappas Family Foundation, and for people, someone to yourself, Jason, for doing the great things you do with the youth. And I spoke on already that how it affected my life with the school police talking to me and mentoring me every day through my life and my walk through the streets of Baltimore.
Good evening again. My name is Ricky Ray. Before I get into that, I would be remiss to say that first and foremost, today is Veterans Day. To all the veterans in the house today, I want to say congratulations and thank you for your service as well. In addition to that, I also would like to ask everybody here, I just got a text from a friend of mine who lives out in California dealing with the fire, so please keep those first responders and some of those family and friends and fellow Americans in mind when it comes to California. So, yeah, I grew up in the Shenandoah Valley. Went to a little town called Waynesboro, Virginia. There, I went to Norfolk State University, which I happened to be a track athlete and played football. And there, I ended up playing for the St. Louis Dolphins. And fast forward, I currently work at the World Bank in management. And one of the reasons why I'm here today is because we believe in our chapter in the DC is like giving back to the community. And we're involved in a lot of community service, and whether it's going and just eating with some veterans during the time of Thanksgiving, or whether it be, to us going out in the community and just sharing our time like we are tonight. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for inviting us. And if there's anything that we can ever do for the foundation on behalf of the DC chapter, please let us know. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Ken Jenkins. I'm actually the former president of the Washington DC chapter of the NFL Players Association. I was replaced by Ricky Ray. And I'm a native of Silver Spring, Maryland, and so I grew up and know this community and know both beltways very, very well. What I want to point out to you tonight is that these gentlemen up here, we were very accomplished on the football field. We got a chance to play in front of throngs and throngs of people, but our hearts always stayed in the community. The communities that we grew up in, and it's those communities that we come back to all the time. It would be nice to be able to help everybody in every effort in the community to do all the things that need to be done in our communities. But I think you have to pick your battle. So this particular time, I'm focused on sort of the mass incarceration issue. And there's lots of things that I do. I live in Prince George's County now. I grew up in Montgomery County, but I now live in Prince George's County. And I just want to find out where I can be most effective with the time that I have. Because we all have families. We all coach little league sports. We have wives and mothers and other extended family. So it's important, I still think, that pick your battles and then go all in. And so for Mr. Mark Pappas, what he's done in this community all these years is just spectacular. Keep up the good work, and we're here to support you any way we can. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Burley. I played 4 years in the NFL. I started my career in Buffalo. I had a brief stint in Minnesota, and I actually ended my career in the great city of Baltimore with the Ravens. Currently, I live over in Northern Virginia, where my wife and I own a government contracting firm, Breakforth Solutions IT. And some of the charities that we actually focused on, we actually help with the Ronald McDonald House, and actually we work with Habitat for Humanity. Me and my wife always felt that God has blessed us throughout our life, and when God blesses you, He expects you to take those blessings and bless others. So that's the way we live our life. And this is another organization that our chapter is going to get involved in, and we are going to support. So we thank y'all for the invitation.
One more round of applause for everybody, and if you don't mind. And I just want to bring up the man that all of you that came out tonight in this room, and all these people that are here tonight, his friends, his family, the NFL Football Players Association, James NFL. Let's please put our hands together for Mr. Mark Pappas. If you don't mind standing for Mr. Mark Pappas, please stand.
Y'all can do better than that. Everybody should be standing. Well, first and foremost, I'm honored to be here this evening, to be a part of this event, celebrating, what a great mind that we have here before us, and Mr. Mark Pappas, and I'm a firm believer in not what you have accomplished yourself, but what you've accomplished for others. And I'm honored to be in front of you, sir, and taking part in your legacy. So let's give Mr. Pappas, a round of applause. I'd be remiss also to, if I didn't acknowledge Mr. Burgess and all your hard work, your dedication, your passion to see young youth mature and cultivate to everything that God has called them to be, and giving them a platform to do that. So I acknowledge you, and I acknowledge your wife as well. When I was asked to come, speak, for this organization and, this launching event, many things came to mind. My own experiences, my own path, my own hard work, what took place for me to be successful and even stand before you this evening. But the one thing that, stood out to me is the fact that everyone in this room made it to where they are because of someone else. Everyone had someone who mentored them, who taught them, who showed them the direction that they would go, and in due time, they would find their own path and pass it on. That's what tonight's all about. It's about giving others an opportunity that we all had ourselves. An opportunity for success. Listening to, Daquan in the video, it really, touched my heart because it's an identity crisis. What we're facing here in Baltimore, in Houston, and other cities across this country is an identity crisis. Who am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there? That's a question that these young youth are asking. And if we don't step up and provide the answer, then they look for that answer elsewhere. They might look for it in the streets. They might look for it through alcohol. They might look for it through partying. They might look for it through drugs. They're going to look for it somewhere if we don't provide the answer. I think about, how I got here. Both my parents, they are immigrants from Nigeria. They both came with a desire to achieve something greater than their surroundings. They both came with a thought process that, well, I'm not going to let my situation define who I am and what my future is going to be. So they pursued the American dream, right? Given the opportunity, they both received their PhDs in education. They both went on to, my dad being, a professor at the University of Massachusetts, my mom living here in Maryland, working for so many years as a director of child care programming throughout the state of Maryland. And what they had was a dream, but what was given to them was an opportunity. And then I think about myself. Played 10 years in the NFL, won a Super Bowl with the great Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, that's yours, round of applause. And now, business owner, entrepreneur, investor, all because I was given an opportunity. I salute you, officer. I salute you for your work, for your humility, for your desire to see others do better than yourself. There's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And that's truly what you're implementing. not only are you doing it, but you're teaching others in your field to be a part of the community and impact their lives in such a young age, so they don't have this misnotion that every interaction with an officer should be negative. You know, I grew up in Massachusetts, and we had a program. It was called, you know, the DARE program. And it afforded me the opportunity to interact with officers at a young age, from the age of 7 to about 12 years old. I was in summer camps, after-school programs. And whenever something happened, whether it was the town fair and, you know, things were going on and kids were, you know, acting a ruckus a little bit and, you know, might not be behaving to the best of their ability, but those officers would come up to me and say, hey, James, hey, go talk to so-and-so. They need to get their act right. And then I was being able to do that based on the previous relationship that I already developed. You know, there's something to that. Relationship. You know, we have this kind of ideology of individualism and, you know, I need to do what's best for me and take care of myself. But there's something more powerful and communal, and being a community, and being a family, and being together. There's something more that can be done when we all take part in being one, being a community, caring for the person next to you more than you care for yourself. And so I salute you, Mr. Pappas. I salute this foundation and the direction in which it's going. The impact that you've done with your restaurants isn't going to compare to the impact that you're going to be doing in these children's lives. So I thank you and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to the presentation awards and certificates to people in the community who are making a difference every day. We know that the foundation is making a difference, and the police officers and the football players. But there are everyday people who are standing up for our communities and fighting for our communities, like Steve Pappas, Mark Pappas, Daniel Burgess. And we want to also introduce you to some other people who are doing just that. So I'm going to hand the mic to Daniel. He's going to introduce the first person.
First, I would like to give an award to this gentleman. As you saw in the documentary, his community efforts is outstanding. Even though the community is somewhat impoverished, he holds up the light not only in his church, but also through his heart. First, Pastor Clinton Adams. A second, this gentleman didn't know that he was getting awarded today, but he does such an amazing job with the children in his community. A part of our beginning experience, we got to take a look at their Rexham Park and the children and the program and how much the need was. And it was so heart-touching to know that this gentleman actually took money, you know, volunteer services, but took money from his family expenses to provide proper uniforms, proper utilities to where the kids could have a place to function and play. Just an average, everyday Joe, but his heart is amazing. Mr. Don Hewen. Don Hewen.
Okay, so we had a guy who spoke earlier. His name is Mahendra Dashar, excuse me, and he talked to you that he came tonight from Harford County, and I just want to tell you, he has 2 restaurants, Sizzle and Bombay, and he takes his time and his money to help people in the community, sometimes who may need it in various ways. So I just want to welcome Mr. Mahendra Dashar. If you guys would welcome him up to the stage tonight. Well, to the room tonight. actually ran for office in this last election, and I just want to tell you that she was successful. Let's please put our hands together for Ms. Lily Rowe.
And last but not least, once again, I met this gentleman at the beginning of our foundation, and it's great because we emphasize on youth and the young people in our community, but he's actually doing a work for the elderly. He's runs a very good program to make sure that elderly are taken care of when their loved ones are in nursing homes and facilities. Mr. Arwin. Thank you very much.
So now we're going to move on to our presentations and our last certificates of the night, and I'm going to hand the mic over to Daniel Burgess.
All right, we have 3 more presentations. The first, of course, is for our speaker for the evening. I can say personally, over the last couple of months or so, this isn't just something that he does to be noticed, that he does for recognition. Every community that we went in, everyone knows Officer Jason. All the parents, the children, they speak so well of him. I was moved just doing this documentary and the work that we did about the lives that he's actually impacted and affected. And I felt it was necessary to not only honor him through this dinner, but to make sure that we shed a light on all of his community efforts. So at this time, I'd like to give a round of applause and present a certificate to Officer Jason Neidig. And then next, of course, the founder of the foundation. So I had the privilege to work for the entire Pappas family. And when I speak of Mr. Mark, needless to say, I'm also speaking of his lovely wife, Miss Harriet. Not behind, but besides, and sometimes in front of, in my case. Every good man, there is a good woman. So I'm honored to present this award to Mr. Mark and the entire Pappas family for your love, for your energy, and for your efforts. It takes a unique family and unique people to care about so many when they themselves accomplish so much. So a round of applause for Mr. Mark Pappas. And this last one was totally unexpected, but he is one of the kindest, most. It's hard to find words to describe this gentleman. I'm very rare am I impressed, because I hold myself, of course, to such a high standard. But this gentleman is someone that I would role model myself after. He's just a fine young man, and all those who know him, you know of him. But those who don't, Mr. Justin Wendell. Oh, you know him. Awesome gentleman. We heard about the foundation on a whim. Funny story, I'll tell it and then I'll get out of the way. We were actually on our way to meet the chief, and Steve's tire blew. We had the meeting to talk about the program and what we were going to do. And Justin was just in the area, and he stopped and he picked him up, and then he sat in on the department meeting, and ever since then, he has been head over heels volunteering his energy, his effort, in doing everything that he could do, not only to impact the lives of others, but just to let everyone in the community have them rally around this cause. So once again, Jason Neidig, Mark Pappas, and Justin Wendell. Round of applause. Thank you very much. And the next voice that you will hear will be that of our speaker for the evening, our second speaker and our honoree, Officer Jason Neidig.
Thank you. I gotta put on my glasses for this. It's a pleasure to see everybody in attendance and support the Mark Pappas Foundation. Committed to serve, committed to unite. That is the value statement of the Mark Pappas Foundation. I must say that is my vision too. I am here today because unwavering support of my wife Ashley, who's present in the room tonight, my two daughters, Paige and Harper, are at home with their mama. Ashley has been by my side for over 12 years, at times frustrated, yet understanding of who I am and my vocation. I'd also like to thank Chief Henry Trabert of the Aberdeen Police Department, who is present tonight. It is because of him that our agency has become involved with the Mark Pappas Foundation. Chief, this is one more thing to add to our community policing initiatives, and it's going to be a positive impact in Aberdeen. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Mark and Steve, Daniel, Justin, Janice, and Zach for choosing the City of Aberdeen to be the blueprint for the Mark Pappas Foundation and the PAP program. Back in September, I got a phone call from Daniel. He was so excited, he was out of breath. I'm pretty sure before he said hello, he'd already told me everything about the Mark Pappas Foundation and its vision. And if you're not familiar with Daniel, when he's excited, it's contagious. I immediately became excited too after learning about the program. I reflected after the phone call and realized what he was asking of my agency and I. You see, the mission of the Mark Pappas Foundation is something I have been striving to achieve for a long time as a law enforcement officer, to enhance the interpersonal relationship between youth and law enforcement. This has been a goal of mine and the Aberdeen Police Department. 2 years ago, I put a request in to leave the patrol division and enter the school policing program. I was chosen to be a school resource officer at the Aberdeen Middle School. My wife would tell you I was nervous, I was scared, yet I was determined. She said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Those middle school kids are bad." After about 30 days in the middle school, I came home and I happily told her I love this new position. The opportunity to work one-on-one with the kids that are having difficult times, to counsel, to mediate, to educate them, to help them out if they've committed a crime, if they violate a school rule, to model and reinforce the use of self-control and to treat others with respect while holding that firm posture of disappointment when they make that mistake, rather than referring them to juvenile services. Reward them, compliment them on their positive behaviors and their acts of kindness. Those are the opportunities that reveal who I am. I constantly talk about and demonstrate mutual respect. I also consistently state the golden rule. Treat others how you would treat others how you would want to be treated. It's basic and it's simple. Many communities are in crisis. After interacting with my students, I sometimes wonder, police officers included, if they really know what's going on in the homes of our community children. The verbal, mental, physical abuse, the poor living conditions, no running water, no food, no air conditioning in the summer, no heat in the winter, rats, ants, and other factors. Mothers and fathers who are separated, they push their kids to the side, they're not sure what their kids are doing and who they're hanging with. These are just some of the troubles plaguing our kids, and it hit me in the face when I became the school resource officer because I could see it and I didn't like it. My eyes were widely opened. For 2 years now, I've wondered what more can law enforcement do to interact with the community? How can law enforcement officers become involved with the community year-round? The Mark Pappas Foundation and the PAP program, that's how. I challenge all of law enforcement and anybody in the community that has an impact to join the Mark Pappas Foundation and become involved. My personal and professional goals looking ahead are to develop a training course for law enforcement officers on how to positively interact with juveniles and teach juveniles how to interact positively with the police. In closing, I'm looking forward to collaborating with the Mark Pappas Foundation. I've already recruited 2 additional officers from my department who know about the foundation, and I currently have 3 community kids that I see and talk to on a regular basis. 2 of them were supposed to be here tonight with me. One's little sister is sick, and the other one's attending a football banquet. Finally, although the monetary compensation is appreciated, Mark, Steve, and Daniel, members of my agency, the Aberdeen Police Department, respectfully declined to accept it. Seeing the foundation succeed and the vision to be realized is far greater reward. We believe in the mission of the Mark Pappas Foundation, and we are humbled to be part of it. Thank you.
So thank you. Let's again put our hands together for Mr. Jason Neidig, Officer Jason Neidig. Thank you. And to Mr. Traber, would you just like to stand and let people just acknowledge that? Because, you know, you actually help make these things possible for this foundation as well. Thank you so much.
Actually, I'm a very small part of it. I just, when they came to my department with the idea, how could I turn it down?
How can you turn down to find another pathway to reach the kids in our community? We try every day. We know if we can get them young, if we can get them because of whatever the issues may be at the house or at the school or in the neighborhood, if we can get them young, we can probably change their lives. Sometimes we have school resource officers in the high school, sometimes that's too late. We need to get them as young as we can and help develop them to be good citizens and prosperous in their life in the future. So I appreciate everything you're doing, and I'm just very happy to be part of it. Thank you very much.
So as we close tonight, I just want to, again, here's our shameless self-plug. We have auction items in the back. If anybody would like to bid on our auction items, we would certainly like to have you do so, and it helps to support the foundation. But in closing, I just want to say thank you again to Mr. Mark Pappas, Steve Pappas, Daniel Burgess, and for Mark Pappas having a vision and a dream and following it. And it just takes one person to stand up and start change. He started a business from the ground. So he's a Greek immigrant who came here and built something out of nothing, raised a wonderful family, has a wonderful family. They're all amazing. Everybody I've met, even the employees, are a reflection to me of Mark Pappas and Steve Pappas and the work that they've done in the community. So I just want to, again, let's just put our hands together and give Mr. Mark Pappas a clap. Because of Mr. Mark's vision and his dream, Steve is carrying forward that dream along with Justin Wendell, his son-in-law, and we're all going to pick up the ball and move forward because that's why we're all here tonight in support of this new foundation, the Mark Pappas Foundation, that is united together for change.